Welcome back, friends. Let's talk about pocket pistols in general for just a minute before we delve into this awesome new little mouse gun from Ruger. Of course, this is just my opinion. Keep in mind, what is the true purpose of a pocket pistol? It's a close quarters, deep concealment, get off me point and shoot gut gun that you'll probably never acquire a sight picture on when you're being attacked. So let's not get caught up in the quality of the sights and bullseye accuracy. Number two, if you're looking for some sort of Hickok 45-like accuracy from a 2 3/4 inch barrel gun at 25 yards, again, you're probably going to be disappointed. Now, if you can rip off 5 or 6 shots in fairly fast succession and get a, 6 or 8 inch pattern at 21 feet, it's done its job, and so have you. These are small mouse guns, and they're fun to have, they're fun to carry, but they aren't a whole lot of fun to shoot. Why? Because there's an explosion going off in your hand, and there isn't much to hold on to. It's just physics. They aren't 100 to 200 round Saturday afternoon range guns. So take it to the range, run a few drills, run some different types of ammo through it, and feel confident in your ability to shoot this thing. Then throw it in the range bag, pull out your SIG 26 or your Glock 17, and let the lead fly and have a good afternoon of shooting. Now, let's get up to speed on this awesome little gun. Now, this is the 4th generation or version of this pistol. The generation 1, like this one, has a very, and I've safety checked all these, has a very long double action trigger. It has minimal sights. You can see that I've modified this one just a little bit with a white dot. And the dash on your serial number and these low profile minimalist sights will let you know that you have the 1st generation of this gun. Generation 2 has a little better trigger and improved sights, and the LCP Custom, which you've seen out there in the last few years, or the 3rd generation if you will, has much taller sights on it that basically snag on everything. It comes with a stainless guide rod and a bit better trigger that is also wider, and it's red anodized, so it's really easy to spot the LCP Custom, if you will. Now we have the LCP II, which is almost a complete redesign in several areas. So let's go over some of the improvements of the latest and best LCP to date. Now, that's not my opinion, that is just a fact. Let's compare the aesthetics of both these versions. On the older one, you have the smooth rounded shape of the original LCP, and it looks just like the LC9 as well, versus a more boxy or Glock shaped LCP II. The LCP II has a larger square trigger guard, and it has a much more squared top slide versus the rounded, more machined look of the original LCPs. It also has stippling all over the grip now, the back strap, here on the front of the trigger guard, and down here on your pinky rest. The grip has also been thickened, which gives you, that'll give you more what I consider palm swell, which that's kind of a knife guy term, but you can see here, this one here is much thicker than the old version right here. Gives you a better purchase on the gun, and for a little tiny gun, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to shoot. Now, the dimensions are about the same, within about 1/10 of an inch. The height change on this one is different, basically because of the new raised sights that you have here on the LCP II. Now, the original LCP, they've got over 1.5 million of those things out there, and it is probably the most successful pocket .380 that's ever been manufactured. And the pros on this one are, its reliability, its affordability, it's lightweight, and it's high concealable for deep carry. The cons, as we talked about, is this crazy long double action trigger. It has no safety except for that long trigger, which is not a big deal. That's all the safety that some people want anyway. You've got virtually non-existent sights. If you can see that, there's not much there. I don't have a problem shooting it, but I had to add a white dot here on the front just to help me get a sight picture. It has a very thin grip, it's snappy to shoot, and one of the things that people don't talk about very often is this slide is extremely hard to rack. I mean, not for me, but I'm saying for a woman. I bought this gun for my wife years ago, and she liked the gun okay once she got used to the long trigger, but she just couldn't rack the slide. And so what she do, she runs out and buys a SIG P238 at more than twice the money, but it's got a nice smooth slide on it. So that's one of the knocks to this gun. But the good news is I inherited it, so I've been carrying it ever since. It also does not have a last round hold open. So when you're finished shooting this and when you empty that magazine, you know, it just doesn't lock back. You just have to know you're out of ammo, and you'll know that by pulling the trigger and you get nothing. Now let's talk about the LCP II for a minute. The pros, now they really did make some big improvements here. Not just some minor BS to sell a new version of the LCP, which is kind of what I thought they did with the LCP Custom. But I count about 9 improvements. So somebody in Prescott, Arizona has really been busy, and for that, we thank you. It has an excellent single action trigger with a Glock-like safety right here. It doesn't have a double reset, and the pull on this trigger is approximately 6 pounds. Much better, much better than any of the prior versions. That's probably the single biggest improvement here, and if that's all they did to this gun, I'd be really happy, because that was one of the big gripes with it. People just didn't like the trigger. It has much better, much improved sight system. These are raised here much more in the back. However, in the front, I think I'm going to go for another either red or white dot. The grip, we talked a little bit about the grip. Here's the old LCP. You can see the difference in the thickness. Now what I did on my old one is I just put one of these hoe grips on there, and you can see how much thicker you can make this gun when you slide one of these hoe grips on here. Hogue will be making one of these for the LCP II, and Talon, as of the end of December, just released their the Talon grip to fit the new LCP II, which I'll be putting on here pretty quick. One other thing is you'll notice the old version only has the slide serrations here in the rear. The new version has slide serrations in the front and the rear. One of the best things about this, and my wife can testify to this, is that the slide is much easier to, I don't have any ammo in this, so it's much easier to slide, and she really likes that, versus this one. It's downright hard for anybody to cycle. The new one has a steel guide rod. It came on the custom model too, but not the others. Does it make any difference? I've never really had any problems with the standard guide rod that came in it. I haven't seen any big malfunctions because of the old plastic guide rod that came in there, but hey, it's got a steel guide rod in it. Price isn't too much more. Thanks, Ruger. Thank you very much. One of the other things that is a huge improvement, and a lot of people are really digging on this gun here, is you do have the last round hold open. When you fire your final shot, it does lock back, whereas this one does not. As far as the cons of this gun, I've shot them both side by side. I shoot them both well. This one you just cannot shoot as quick because it has the long double action trigger, once you get used to about your second or third magazine, when you figure out where the trigger is on this and where it breaks, you're going to shoot this one much better, especially in succession. So I haven't seen any cons at all. I've heard about some failures out there, but I haven't experienced any. I've run 4 different types of ammo through this particular gun and just haven't had any problems with it so far. Price on this new one here is anywhere from $270 to about $300. Although I did see some knuckleheads at the gun show trying to get $325 plus, you know, which is just kind of crazy, but that's the way it was when every time a new gun comes out, you're gonna see some idiots like that trying to cash in. And one way Ruger has always been able to give us a well-made, affordable pistol is to put it in a no-frills cardboard box. They only give you 1 magazine. That knocks down the price, you know, by 20, 25 bucks, and I'm okay with that. And instead of giving us some sort of cute little zippered pouch with Ruger on it that you're never going to use, they actually did give you something that is usable. Since they've produced probably the best pocket pistol out there, they've given you a nice little pocket holster. And this is actually very usable. Fits in there nice, completely covers the trigger, which is what you want. If you're one of those guys that just slides this into your pocket without any kind of coverage at all, you're just an idiot, in my opinion. But it works really well. I've been using this DeSantis Nemesis for a long time, and it's a great little holster. But the one you're going to get with your new Ruger LCP II is of great value for you. Makes a lot of sense. One more thing before we get off of holsters. If you have a soft-sided holster, like here's one that's locally made here, WRB, inside the waistband, made out of nylon. Here's a Galco leather inside the waistband. If you've been using one of these on your old LCP, it's going to fit with your new LCP II. Where you might run into some difficulty is if you've got an inside the waistband or outside the waistband Kydex holder, it's probably not going to fit just because the trigger guard is so much more square than the rounded one here. Other than that, I think you're going to be good with it. So there you have it, friends. My 2 cents on the new Ruger LCP II, or if you prefer, the Generation 4. The best LCP pistol to date, and maybe the best true pocket pistol ever. Let me know what you think. Hope you've had some experience shooting it. Highly recommend this gun, especially if you've had this one. I'll keep this one. It'll just be a desk gun at the office from now on. But this is going to be my favorite girlfriend here in my pocket. I just love this size of pistol combined with this type of holster. It really works great. Let me know what you think. If you like what you see, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share the video with all your buddies, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So until next time, you guys be safe. Hope to see you down the road. Adios.